Welcome back to the Social Media Stewards. This is episode 20, Speeding in the Pod Lane. Now, if you don't know, my name's Mark, and this is my good friend Ray, and we've decided to start our own little podcast. And for those of you who have been before, obviously, we much appreciate all the people who've been tuning in, getting involved, whether it's with comments, questions, your opinions. We thank you all for the continued support. It's much appreciated. And of course, this weekend it was the Monaco F1 race, which is normally the most boring race of the season. We admit it's the Dingleberry in the crown,
Yeah.
but well, we were mildly entertained, weren't we? I think.
For small portions, I think
Yeah.
it provided some entertainment in portions, but it wasn't necessarily the racing that was doing that.
No, it was the sheer amount of penalties and investigations.
Yeah, and safety cars and
Yeah,
um,
yeah, and DNFs and all sorts.
broken tarmac and
Yes, more potholes than the M6.
mm,
Yes, completely. I agree.
yeah.
Yes.
But
But should we start with qualifying?
I think we start before qualifying.
Oh, go on.
I think we start with the fact that we've got all this new fancy tech in the sport.
Oh,
We've
yes.
got batteries, we've got active aero
Oh, yes.
designed to make the racing closer, more exciting, but you can't use it at Monaco. You're not allowed to use it at Monaco.
Yeah, I get
Um,
you.
so before we even got to race weekend, they're like, "Oh, there's no active aero at Monaco for driver safety concerns."
Yeah.
And instantly, like, I'm not a big fan of Monaco anyway, but instantly I'm thinking, well, if we can't use the cars, why are we there?
Yeah. Yeah, so what was the thing? So there was no active aero. Didn't they limit the top speed of the cars as well? And the
Yes.
battery power was reduced. That's
Hmm.
right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So effectively make the most boring race even slightly more boring.
They were allowed to use overtake mode, which is ironic considering
Ooh.
you can't overtake at Monaco.
I know.
Um,
Genius.
I just like before we even got to the weekend, like I say, I was kind of thinking to myself, if they can't use the tech and the regulations for the
Yeah.
track, there's no reason we should be there. I understand to some people it's the jewel in the crown. To a lot of the drivers, it's still if you manage to win Monaco, it's a special tick on your career. I get that,
Yeah.
but it's a spectator sport where it's meant to be
Yeah.
about overtaking, good racing, close, competitive racing, where you're meant to showcase the cars and the technology.
Yeah.
And they weren't allowed to use the
Yeah.
new, the new cars to their full potential. So I was instantly kind of like,
Yeah.
well, what are we even doing here? Um,
Agreed.
but but
Yeah.
yeah, so the whole weekend started off on the wrong foot for me. But
Yeah.
then we get to quali, and it was a lot closer than it's been the previous 5 races.
Oh yes. Oh yes. That was the closest qualifying we've had all season.
Mm,
Um, I mean, it's always pretty close at Monaco, but that was because we've had such wildly spread out qualifying this season. It was quite nice to see, P1 being snatched and then taken back and then snatched, and it was quite a good qualifying to watch. To be fair,
yeah.
qualifying was more entertaining than the race.
Mm,
I reckon.
yeah.
To be fair,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a surprising order. I mean, not for the people who went out first. Um, I mean, it's the usual suspects, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
that went out first are Alonso and Stroll, Bottas and Behrman, Perez, Ocon, and Bortoletto. It was kind of yeah, okay. We pretty much could have predicted that one.
Yeah.
Um, but when we were talking before we started recording, of course, um, the slowest time from last year would
Mhm.
have gotten them seventh. Did you say in
7th
this year's
in this
regulations?
year's lineup, yeah.
That is incredible.
And the fastest of the first cars that were eliminated last year would have
Yeah,
been on pole.
that is terrible, isn't it?
So the car that came in 16th in Q1
Yes.
last year would have been quick enough for pole this year.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. What
It's
are they playing at?
it's it's eh, it's painful.
It is. Yeah.
So Kimmy's Q3 times of 112.051.
Yeah.
Um,
Go on.
everyone in Q1 up to 18th, up to and including 18th, would have been in
Yeah.
front of him
That's
from last season.
ridiculous, isn't it?
18th in Q1 last year was 111.994.
Wow. That is absolutely incredible.
You can't make it up.
No. No.
Um,
No, you can't.
and don't get me wrong, it was an impressive lap by Kimmy to put himself up there. Like obviously
Oh,
we'll
oh
get
yeah.
we'll get to the thingy, but yeah, when you're looking at it, Kevin, okay, those five that went out, 114.6 for
Yeah.
Bortoletto, and then down to a 116. I mean, fair play to the Aston Martins. They managed to stay within a couple of seconds of 16th.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all of them, yeah, you kind of expecting them to be there, but they were just 4 seconds, 3.5 seconds between.
Yes.
Sorry, 2.5 seconds between Fernando Alonso
Yeah.
and Kimi Antonelli. So it was very, very close across the whole 22
Yeah.
cars,
It was. Yeah.
much closer than we've seen. And maybe in part that was down to the restriction on the battery because it then came down a lot more to the lack of active aero because it then came down to the engine essentially. Most like
Yes.
who had the more powerful engine, which we'll come to later, surprisingly.
Yes.
Um, but it was very interesting to see that when they put those restrictions in place,
Yeah.
when you're not relying on the active aero, you're not relying on everything bunched right up.
Yes, it did. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then that gap kind of stayed consistent through Q2 as well between 15th and first. Again, it was like 2.5
Yes.
seconds or whatever it was. Well, less than 2.5 seconds, like 1.5 seconds for that. And less than a second between first and 10th in Q2.
Yes. Yeah.
Like 0.7 of a second or something. Which I didn't get to watch it live. I only got to watch the highlights. So I'm seeing all these times coming in. I'm like, oh,
Of course.
okay. It's actually made the qualifying quite spicy.
Yes.
Because especially when you get to the end of Q2 and Max was quicker
Oh yeah.
than Kimi
Oh
at the
yeah.
front. Um, and you're kind of looking at going on the slower corners and getting out of those
Mm.
slower corners. That Red Bull's got
Oh yeah.
something. Certainly got something. Like
Oh yeah.
Monaco was able to kind of showcase it there. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's as you say, the qualifying just seemed to be a lot more exciting than what.
It was. It was. I mean, to be fair, you look at the qualifying times. I mean, it's lovely to see the Williams. Okay, they were on the 11th and 12th, but you look at the timings between them. There was what 0.3 of a second
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Oh 03, you know what I mean? That's nice and consistent.
Mm.
Um, and they weren't too far away in Q1, but it was the gap was larger. But having said that,
The
I'm
Williams
sure
were
there's
very close to each other in Q1 and Q2. Very
yes,
much.
they were, yeah. There is clearly quite a lot of typos on this website because otherwise it
Yeah,
looks as though Albon did a 114.3, but Lawson was ahead of him with a 114.49. Oh, I
mm.
see what they've done. I see what they've done. They put them in the driver orders, but obviously the timings are out for
Yeah. The
Q1.
timings have gone out for
That's
Q1.
why.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
noticed.
because
Yeah,
we
we
both
looked at
looked at that beforehand. We were like, hey,
yeah, yeah. But if you look at
just us being daft.
the Williams, they
Yeah,
were very close to each other in both Q1 and Q2.
very.
Which, and we said the other week, Albon needs to step it up.
He does, yes,
Um,
and he was doing a good job there. To be
yeah,
fair, he was.
he was very
Um,
quickly being kind of let. led astray, like kind of left in the distance. Sorry, by Sainz.
Yeah. I mean, the main the main surprise for me, to be honest, through the qualifying session and even during practice, was the pace of Max in that Red Bull.
Mm.
I mean, you look at where he qualifying second, and he was what 0.04 of a second behind Antonelli. From the performance we've seen from that Red Bull car so far this season, I certainly didn't think he'd be on the front row in qualifying. I honestly would have thought that would be sort of what we've seen a lot more of, the two Mercedes, then the two Ferraris, and then followed closely by either McLaren or Red Bull. But Max managed to drag that car up to a cracking spot on the grid. But George was well off the pace.
Yeah.
Well off the pace.
George just couldn't. Anytime he improved, he wasn't improving enough.
No, point four down.
Yeah. But coming back to the Red Bulls as well, like Hadjar getting into fifth.
I know.
I think what I was saying
It's really good.
just before, like around the other tracks, it's been a lot of fast sections, a lot of fast corners, a lot of.
Yes.
I don't think that chassis is suited for that.
No.
Whereas Monaco, there's a lot of very slow where you just slow corners where you're using the brute force of the engine to get you out of the corner.
Yeah.
And I think it's shown the strength of that Red Bull engine this weekend.
Yeah, I think part of that is down to the Red Bull carrying extra weight.
Mm.
I think that's part of where they're lacking, getting out the corners and things like that. But in the slower speed tracks, or the much tighter circuits, this worked really well for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as we've come to see, those Ferraris, they seem to have really good pace, especially in qualifying as well, and quite similar.
I think it's one of the best balanced cars on the grid.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if it's a fast open circuit with a lot of fast corners,
yeah,
or whether there's a lot of slow technical bits. That Ferrari's right there.
yes, it is. Yeah,
it's so well balanced this year. You've got a couple of issues which we'll come to in the in when we discuss the race, but I think it's one of the best balanced cars.
Yeah,
grid by far. And then the McLaren's kind of they're having a woeful season so far. But when the cars work, they seem to be able to kind of put the times in like that. They were only they were 2/10 off in Q2. And it was only kind of Q3 when the other teams kind of turned it up a little bit. They fell a little bit back, but still half a second off. But and before qualifying, they had their problems. Lando losing yet another battery.
Yeah, he did.
And he's got no more batteries left for the season. So everything he gets now is a penalty.
Yeah, I mean that is awful, isn't it? When you think about it, was so early in the season. How many batteries they allow per season then?
Well, is this number 4 for him?
Maybe, yeah.
3 or 4 for him. So now, they are in penalty land.
That's not good, is it?
After race 6.
I know.
And if
I wonder,
we're meant to, if it's meant to be believed, we're going to get the 2 races that we missed back at the end of the season.
Right, yeah.
So we've still got 18 races to go.
Yeah, well, they're now saying as well that they've reviewed the Odoo, isn't it? The performance upgrades.
The Duo, yeah.
Yeah, and they've said that the Red Bull engine is by far the most powerful and fastest. So Mercedes is eligible for an upgrade.
Yeah.
And you just think, really? Really?
I think it's all down to the chassis.
I think it is, yeah.
I think
completely.
If that Red Bull engine was in that Mercedes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That car, it's already disappearing. I tried to think what would happen if if they're allowed to they are allowed to upgrade now. Ferrari are allowed to upgrade. McLaren, obviously McLaren will be allowed to because it's a Mercedes engine, so McLaren will get the upgrades that Mercedes apply.
Yeah, so they're allowed a certain percentage, aren't they?
Yeah,
So Mercedes is allowed, I think, a 2%, and Ferrari are allowed a 4%
yeah.
upgrade or something.
So
Yeah,
Mercedes are within 2% of the performance,
right.
so they get
Okay.
so many points of upgrade, and then if you're further back at 4%, you get more.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
allowed more points of upgrade. So
Yeah.
Ferrari do have the advantage of more points of upgrade. Mercedes
I,
have
s- I
upgrades that
suppose
are scary.
the only hope, really, I would say, not as a Red Bull fan as such, but more so that we get more of this fighting on track, is I would hope that because Red Bull don't have to put extra money and development into the engine, they'll be able to go, all we need to concentrate is the chassis.
Yeah,
Because what I'd love to see more of course, is, the Ferraris and the Mercedes all battling together with the Red Bulls and the McLarens, and see it as, I think we already know who's wrapping up this championship. I don't think there's going to be a gigantic comeback like there was last year or anything like that.
mm.
But I would love to see a fight over the constructors, because as much as, yes, Mercedes is a good chunk ahead in the constructors, with the way things are panning out with DNFs this season and everything else, and even, look at yesterday with George. I know we'll get onto that, but you think, well, there's big chunks here of points going missing in certain races and things like that, and you think this could really open a can of worms for the constructors as the season goes on, especially if we do get those extra 2 races back as well. It will make a large difference.
Yeah. I think ultimately though, I I can't see anybody catching Mercedes. I want it.
Right.
I absolutely want it to.
Yeah.
But if they're allowed to upgrade that engine, which apparently was everyone was celebrating that this weekend was the first time they've
Yeah.
been allowed to use their illegal engine. Well, it's still
Oh yeah.
quick.
Oh yeah.
It's still rapid.
Oh yeah.
Their chassis is that you say I say Ferrari's has got one of the best balanced on the track. There's
Yeah.
Mercedes chassis is by far the quickest.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so even with the supposed you know downgrade to their engine this week,
Yeah.
that car was still super dominant. If it hadn't been for George getting caught up and it being Monaco, had there been any other track and he'd
Yeah.
qualified in sixth, I think he'd have been in second by lap 3 or 4, and
Right.
it would have
Yeah.
been a
Yeah.
Mercedes chase down. Um, so you got to think if Mercedes are allowed to upgrade that engine, um, it's
Oh
it's
yeah.
only going to get quicker. It's
Of
only
course
going to
it
get
is.
quicker.
Of course. Yeah.
So I think the fight is for second and third. And I think if Red Bull can
Mm,
sort out their problems, they can chase down Ferrari.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I just wonder. You can clearly see now this season and this situation is getting under Russell's skin, and
mm,
I just think he's driving a little bit desperate. So I wonder, when Russell makes mistakes because he's getting angry or upset, they're big. And it'll
yeah,
only take a couple of DNFs for Ferrari to catch up.
as it stands right now, Mercedes
Yeah.
are already nearly 100 points ahead.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Um, so I think even if George does have some DNFs and have some moments, and he basically outdrives himself trying to
Mm.
close this gap to Kimi. If Kimi's banging in 25 points a race,
Oh yeah.
it's going to be very difficult, even if George does suffer some failures, even if Kimi causes the odd failure. Don't get me wrong, I do want to see it really tight up
I,
front.
I just think if you're having, say, Antonelli finishing in first and the other two Ferraris on the podium, which is more than plausible, that gap does get lowered each race, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
It does. It does. For sure. But I think if
Don't
even
get me
if
wrong, it's Mercedes to
yeah.
lose.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I just think
I think they have got it in the bag. I'm just saying it's not out the realms that
oh
they
it's
could.
it's it's not out the realms, but I
You
think
know.
like yesterday was a bit of a anomaly. Any other track,
Yeah.
if George was stuck behind Hadjar, he wouldn't have been stuck behind him
Of
for 30
course.
laps.
Oh
Even
no.
if he makes a mistake, has a couple of offs here and there.
Yeah.
If he DNFs, or they have the engine issue that he had in
Yeah.
Canada, for example. Yeah, but it'd be a lot of DNFs, I think, that would have to happen to
Oh yeah.
close that gap.
Yeah.
I do think the fight will be Red Bull and Ferrari if Red Bull can sort that chassis out, get rid of that weight,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
engine is clearly there.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So I think that's where the fight will be.
Yeah.
And bring up the team standings right now. I mean, it's
So
McLaren.
yeah.
It's McLaren in third at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to start going backwards with all these engine penalties and grid place penalties and stuff.
Yeah. I would have thought so. Yeah.
And yes, it's nearly 100 points from Mercedes to Ferrari, nearly 100 points from Ferrari to Red Bull. But
Yeah.
what Red Bull have this season, which they haven't had for a lot of seasons, is when both drivers finish, they're generally scoring points.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. True.
Which they didn't when it was all that. It was in the past. It was all down to Max getting the points.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
And if they can sort that chassis out, start scoring consistently, and get in the mix with the Ferraris,
Yeah.
I think that's where the excitement will be. I think Mercedes are just going to be off to the races. Personally, as a
Yeah.
Mercedes
Possibly.
fan, great, I love it. But at the same time, you kind of like, yeah, we want some excitement, even in the constructors' championship.
Oh yeah.
But it was good to see in quali a lot closer times, and not
Oh,
seeing those
without a doubt.
Mercedes just 3/10 ahead.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, of course. But this does really bring us to the race of never-ending penalties. I mean, before we even get onto the penalties, which were hilarious. I mean, the stewards worked so hard. I mean, round of applause for the stewards.
We said, didn't we, during the race, like, wow, at least they're actually doing this during the race, not like last time when it was like, will be investigated after.
Oh yes. Oh yes. But of course, we have to talk about the first start, and we were thinking, going into turn one, you've got Antonelli, Max, and Hamilton. And we both thought Antonelli's had some bad luck with the starts. So has Max, but when he gets it off the line right, it's rapid. And we both of us honestly thought the way that Ferrari's got off the line, could we see Hamilton in P1 by turn one?
Yeah.
Because, it's completely plausible with the way we've had some of the starts. And of course, me being a Max fan, I was very excited to see him up near the front. I thought, getting a bit saucy. And Max's engine gave up. As soon as the lights went out, I was devastated for him. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't hoping Antonelli didn't win. I quite like Antonelli. I wouldn't have even been bothered if Hamilton won. I was just thinking, do you know what? Max had a bit of a rotten season so far. I thought, wouldn't it be great if he could just even have a good battle near the front at Monaco? And the way that car just stopped dead, it was unreal. There was nothing he could do.
He said, didn't he, when he was interviewed after he kind of got out the car and had a shower and went to do his press stuff, that they asked him basically what was wrong at the start. And he's like, well, I could feel it going wrong in the formation lap. The engine just wasn't reacting normally. And then when we lined up, it wasn't doing the pre-start properly. And then when he released the clutch, the engine just died. It just you see from the onboard. It was from, when was it, the other race? When you see his onboard,
I'm not sure.
And you just saw the display on his wheel just turn off.
Yeah,
it was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Now I'm a Mercedes fan. I'm a Lewis fan. So for me, two of the top three guys, I was like, I don't mind which one of these ends up, But I was really looking forward to, Max and Lewis, but also Max, Lewis, and Kimi. And if anything from the last couple of weeks has told us, all the animosity you see in the press and between the fans, Max and Lewis actually love racing each other.
course they do.
because they know, they both like, no, it's no quarters given. It's good hard
Yeah.
racing. And I was like, I mean, it's Monaco. Might not see that many
Yeah.
attempts, but if they're there and playing around in each other's mirrors and Kimmy's
Oh
right there,
yeah.
it could be really exciting. But then they pulled
Yeah.
away, and I was like, Kimmy's got a great start, because I was looking at Kimmy and Max, and
Yeah.
then Max is just falling back, and I'm like, oh, hang on. And then everybody just, Max did very well
Yeah.
to pull that over to the side with whatever
He
momentum he
did.
had to make room for people to go past.
Yeah.
Because that could have been messy.
Oh, it could have easily.
So,
Easily.
you know, he did very well, and everyone behind did well to avoid. But it
Yeah.
was just, it was absolutely gutting.
I know. I
Um,
know it was a cracking start, to be fair. Not for Max, but for everyone else. Antonelli got off the line like a scalded cat. He was so quick off the line. Yeah. The only thing is, as we saw, you know, straight away. Well, after a couple of laps, it was Russell's under investigation for a start and infringement. And I mean, we know what Russell's been like the past few races. He's basically been pointing at a 90-degree angle to the car next to him. But with this starting, it looked, when they shown the image of it, it looked like his right hand wheel was outside the right hand side of the box.
yeah, because Lando behind him called that out to his grid, so that
Yeah.
obviously stewards hear the communication.
Oh
And when you
yeah.
saw that on board from Lando, it was clearly outside of the box.
Yes. Yeah.
I was trying to find a photo of it today so we could put it up in the corner.
Yeah. No, can't find one.
Can't find a picture of that at all.
No.
Neither can you find this pit lane thing, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
But he was clearly outside of his box. But
I know. I'm amazed he got away with that.
No penalty given. But somebody wasn't even in their box.
Perez.
Sergio Perez completely forgot that there was an empty box ahead of him because Bortoleto was starting in the pit lane.
Yes.
And pulled into Bortoletto's open box. So that was a slam dunk. He wasn't getting away with that one.
Completely out of position. Yeah, completely.
You see his onboard at the formation lap, and they come around the last corner, and the guy in front of him pulls into their box, and he just pulls ahead, and you're like, I mean, I missed that at first. I was like, oh, is he over? And then it was Jan said once he's gone past.
Yes, it was.
He's gone past is the guy? I was like, oh yeah.
Yes. My wife was more observant than the two social media stewards. We didn't have a clue what was wrong with that image, and she knew straight away he was in the wrong box.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, fair enough.
So he got a drive through before the race had even started, really.
He did. But it was the start of many penalties. Many penalties.
Many penalties. So, yeah, Perez basically got that at the start.
Yeah.
And then you go through the list, and Russell.
Oh, they're everywhere.
5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane.
Yeah.
Gasly got two 5-second penalties he got for speed in the pit lane.
Yes.
Lewis got 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. Franco Colapinto got a 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. Oscar Piastri and Lance Stroll all got 5-second penalties for speeding in the pit lane. Which, I mean, during the commentary, they're saying something's got to be off with the sensors and how it's measured. But interestingly enough, it wasn't the sensors.
No, so because we've now got an extra team effectively in the pit lane, the pit lane is actually the same length. I think they've redrawn the lines on the floor, if you like. So they've changed the speed limit for this year's Monaco F1, haven't they, for in the pit lane? So they've lowered it. And what's been happening is where you've got the solid white line before you pull your car over to the left-hand side to go into your pit box, some of the cars, it's not as they've entered the pit lane that they're speeding, it's as they're leaving, you've basically got an extra bit, if you like, and they're crossing the line on the left-hand side and then going back out. So if you cut that line, it's like an average speed camera. Yeah. So it's clocked you as you've gone in, and then it's clocked as you've gone out, and depending on the amount of time they estimate your speed. So if they cut that corner on the way out, it goes, oh, you've been speeding.
Yeah.
And that's, the problem is now, I understand, don't get me wrong, you kind of think, but if their actual speed has been correct, it's a bit mean to say, you've been speeding in the pit lane.
See, I'm of a different mind.
Go on.
You're not allowed to cross the pit line.
No, you're not. No.
Right. And so, as part of the driver briefings, they're made aware of all timings and all things like that, and speeds and time and everything. In the past, that last corner would be coned off. They cone off that area.
Yeah.
Which would have prevented them from cutting the corner. Now, the rule is when you're re-entering the track, for example, is you're not allowed to cross that white line. Right.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, once you're in that lane exiting, you should not be allowed to cross that white line.
No.
So you are going the full length of the pit lane. You've got to go around that corner instead of cutting it. So as far as I'm concerned, if you know that the pit lane average is such and such, and it's measured from the start of the pit lane to the exit of the pit lane, and you cut out of the pit lane, you kind of asking for it, even if your speedo says I never went above. They're going, but your average time should have been this.
Yes. Yeah.
You effectively did speed. So I'm kind of like, on the one hand, you didn't go over the 60 kilometers, but on the other hand, you did cut a corner.
Oh yeah, I mean, it should just be a simple case of the only time you can cross that solid white line is to enter your pit box to get your tires changed. Yeah. You should never cross it at any other point. That's fair enough.
Entry and exit,
the same way. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's fair enough. But the idea of it's Alpine, isn't it, that have lodged a formal complaint or an appeal.
Yeah.
And they want to appeal, and you think you could never untangle that spaghetti mess now. You can't. Because what would you do with Russell? Where would you put him? Because it was an utter catastrophe.
Yeah.
You can't unravel that mess at all. You can't go back on it now. And they need to just say in future, you never cross that white line. Yeah. It's as simple as that, in which they shouldn't be anyway. I think it's such a tight and obscure shape of a pit lane. I think that's what doesn't help. Do you know what I mean? Most pit lanes are very, the entry and exit might be a little bit windy, but most pit lanes are quite straight. Might have a slight curve to them, but most are quite straight. That is such an obscure pit lane.
I mean, you're actually on board. It's not really that bad. It's like a sweep to the left, and then you sweep out to the right, and you're going around. You're missing the first corner, aren't you, essentially, and then going up the hill. You rejoin up the hill. I don't think it's... I could understand if it was like a weird angle, and you're like, oh, hang on, we can't stay in this, but it's actually quite a sweeping left hand, and then a sweeping right hand. So, when you look at the onboards, like, if you know the timing is from its entry to its exit, why are you taking the risk? You're trying to buy yourself a little bit of time. I get that. It's all about margins, and it was all about margins because every single one of them was done for going 0.1 kilometers over the 60.
Oh yeah.
To buy themselves an extra 2 or 3 meters.
Yes. Yeah. It's not worth it. No. At all. No.
But it was just like, hang on a minute, because the thought was there's got to be a fault with the sensor.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be for this many people to be getting caught out. There's got to be a fault with the sensor.
Without a doubt.
But no, there wasn't.
No.
But we quickly lost a couple more cars though. I mean, that's obviously the penalties. Those penalties went all the way through the race. People were picking them up at different times.
But
after Max went, we quickly lost Valtteri Bottas. Then we lost Behrman within the first 27 laps. So Bottas was out in the 15th. Behrman was out in the 27th. Neither of them in due to accidents or power cut on the actual track, so they were able to pull in. So there was no real drama in the early part of the race, other than another driver's out. The drama started to come last 30% of the race.
Yeah, well, I mean, when Lando's car started going, the
Mm,
others were very much bring the car when we were retiring,
yeah,
and we never really got to see the sort of the lead up to it.
yeah,
Whereas with Lando, obviously they were trying to sort a problem with him on the track, and it looked like he had brief moments of getting the car back, but I think they were just using him to sort of back the grid up a little bit at that point.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, unfortunately, Lando did have to retire, but again, he came into the pits. Yeah, but I mean, the main DNFs came towards the end.
yeah,
But I must say, I did find it entertaining watching Hadjar hold up Russell.
yeah,
That was entertaining because you could see his tires were completely shot, and Hadjar was having engine problems. He was down on
yeah,
power,
mm,
and you just thought, this is the problem with Monaco. On a normal track, he would have just been overtaken and blown into the weeds, and he would
yeah,
have fell back
yeah,
down the pecking order. And if you remember rightly, when we were watching the race, the first lapped car was by lap 10.
yeah, because Paris had to do that drive through.
Yeah. But you
Um,
just think, by lap 10,
yeah,
lap 10, that is pathetic. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Drive through penalty or not, that's sad.
Oh, it was terrible. But the Hadjar thing was very interesting because you could clearly see that George was trying to line up overtakes here and there, but
Mm.
Hadjar's defense was immaculate. He
Oh,
was
it was.
getting
Yeah.
that car into position so that there was no way around through some of the
Yeah.
tighter coming out of the tunnel down towards swimming pool, and he was like, I'm just going to go in the middle. You can't go around the left of me. You can't go around the right of me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to put it in the middle, and then I'm going to be really slow on the exits because you've got to go all the way around, and then I'm going to
Oh,
bury
yeah.
it out the exit,
Oh, yeah.
and you could see the time between Hadjar and the front three guys just dropping back, like just falling back and
Oh,
falling
yeah.
back. But again, that was making George's time drop back, and he was getting more and more
Of course it was.
frustrated. You could hear it on the
Yeah.
radio, and there was one point where Hadjar wasn't able to get slowed down in time for swimming pool and go through the chicane, but did
Yes.
did slow down sufficiently that the stewards didn't deem it worth a look at and
Of course.
maintain position.
Of
And George
course.
was all over the radio there. Go, he's got to give that position back. It's like, well, give what back, George? You didn't get past him. You were
Exactly.
nowhere near him.
Yeah.
You weren't alongside him. He just outbroke himself,
Oh, no.
and he did slow down to allow you back onto his gearbox essentially. So
Of course. I mean, the thing was, it was like obviously Russell boxed the lap before Hadjar, if I go 2 laps before Hadjar, and he
mm,
clearly went for the undercut. And then all of a sudden, that little yellow exclamation mark comes up under investigation, speed in the pit lane. And it was like, oh dear,
yeah,
we've already seen people today with that. And it's clearly a slam dunk. They've
yeah,
clearly had the sensors ping up. Sorry, you have absolutely sped through that pit lane. So it was a saving grace for Hadjar really because clearly he was still down on power, and he needed that to go right. Okay, really, as long as I stay within 5 seconds of him after I pitted, we're all good.
yeah. I think he
But
was down to like
he
10
wasn't.
seconds after he
Yeah,
pitted, but he could chase it if
yeah,
he wanted.
that's it. Yeah, so Hadjar wasn't managing to keep that pace with Russell
Yeah,
to keep the gap under the 5 seconds, but obviously it's because he was down on power. There was no way he could have maintained that gap.
no,
Um, But yeah, I mean, the thing is, there was so many. The majority of that race watched Russell and Hadjar because nothing else was happening.
yeah,
There was nothing else happening. Everything else was just a train
mm,
of, well, I would say DRS, but it's not a DRS train. There was no DRS. There was no active aero.
no.
It was just a train. That's all it was.
And the interesting thing was, he got the under investigation for speed in the pit lane, and then a little bit later on, it was like under investigation for
Yeah.
crossing the white line on pit exit.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so we were like, oh, is he going to get like a double whammy of
Yeah.
disillusionment here? He got the 5 seconds for the speeding, but
Yeah.
then after investigating the crossing the white line, the steward said no further investigation, and we were like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Usually that's a slam
Yeah.
dunk. Um,
It is. Yeah.
we had the issue with Max in Miami where it took a long time because he said he couldn't find the camera angles. But when they showed the replay of it, I think it
Yeah.
became a bit obvious to me like why they hadn't given it, because
Yeah.
his wheel touched the line, but your wheel has to go beyond the line.
Yes.
And the difference between his one and the one with Max in Miami was it was the last 30 centimeters of the line where Max's wheel just crept
Yeah, and
over the front.
it was his rear wheel as well, wasn't it? Because it
Mm,
was obviously the rear wheels stick out ever so slightly more than
yeah.
the front.
So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, you could see why there. But yeah, usually when they say noted for that, it's usually a slam dunk. I was surprised when
Normally.
it was like just noted and then investigated and no further action. So we thought like,
Yeah.
oh, this is just going to get even worse for George at this point. He's been
Oh yeah.
frustrated by Hadjar, and now he's going to have two penalties coming. It ended up being the one which he covered.
Yeah.
Like he'd covered that 5 seconds to Hadjar,
Yeah. He did, yeah.
and then um, Lance Stroll hits a wall.
Well, it's where he belongs. I
Uh,
mean, but we still don't really know what happened there because we've got a few different versions of events. So when Stroll went into that wall, the commentators thought, "Oh, it looks like he's picked up a load of marbles," because
mm,
obviously where that pothole had appeared in the track, it looks like all the drivers are trying to avoid it. So it did look like Stroll went to the left of that pothole, and that's where all the marbles were. So he that was then on the marbles and then couldn't brake because there was less grip because his tires were just coated in all of the rubber marbles, and so that's why he went into the wall. But when you watch the replays back from the front of the car, it looks like his wheel went straight down the middle of that piece of tarmac that was ripped
yeah,
up. And it looks like those pieces of tarmac stuck to the wheel rather
it
than marbles.
it threw up a load of debris. If you watch it, not only is it
Yeah.
on the tire, but loads of it throws up as well. Um,
Actually, I was meant to send you a clip earlier today. I do apologize, and I will see if we can add it in for the edit. If I have sent it to Ray, it should be appearing here. If not, you can imagine it. So when they sorry about that.
it's all right.
When they have the red flag, so obviously the red flag was after Leclerc did exactly the
Mm,
same thing,
yeah.
which we'll get onto in a sec. When the track inspectors went out to look at the potholes, you had some of the people who work for the FIA looking at the pothole. There was a steward on the other side of the barrier from that pothole, and he gets the attention of one of the members of the FIA and holds up a piece of tarmac like this. And I'm not joking, it was about that big, a section of tarmac. And he goes, "Have you seen this?" Effectively, that looks like what he's saying. And the FIA fella quickly puts the fella's arm down and makes him hide it behind the barrier. And it
Oh,
was
I have not
like,
seen that.
yeah, I'll
Mm,
send you the clip. I will send you the clip.
yeah.
Um, and you think, hang on a minute. They're saying, is it something or is it nothing? Which
Yeah.
which which way is it? But genuinely, I know it's a slow speed corner and everything, but they're still doing 50 kilometers an hour when they hit that barrier, and it still could cause a lot of danger because you think, okay, Leclerc, fair enough, he hit the wall. Luckily, he didn't have anybody right behind him. When you look at a lot of the trains of cars that were coming around those final two corners, there were four cars and there couldn't have been 6 inches between them.
Mm,
If one of them hit that and that was a danger, you've instantly got a four-car pileup.
yeah.
So the way he waves that fella's arm down was unreal. I will have to get the clip and we'll add it into the edit.
Mm,
But that honestly, I was shocked at that. I thought, really? Thought that is
yeah.
shocking behaviour.
So for those who aren't aware, the pothole basically prior to the race weekend, there'd been some repair work done to the
Yeah,
road in between the second to last and the last corner.
yeah,
And throughout the weekend, that repair work was just being ripped up by the cars, and
yeah,
it ended up being like a 3 or 4 foot long divots, like tarmac divots, essentially.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it, it, I don't think it was clearly not marbles for Lance. It was clearly he got that on,
yeah,
and the car just stopped turning, and he just went straight on
yeah.
into the wall. I don't think there's anything Lance could have done about that, to be fair.
No.
But that brought out the safety car,
Yes.
the first
Yes.
safety car, um, and so everybody dives into the pits.
Oh yeah,
Antonelli was just past the grid entry when at the pit entry when they were like, okay, box. And he was like, I'm too far. I'll go round. And
yeah,
but he was that far ahead. It didn't matter at
no,
this point. So he goes around. George goes around, and
yeah,
then they come into pit. They basically double stack the Mercedes.
yeah.
Um,
Well, by that point, sorry, by that point, what had happened was the first few cars, all of the cars went past Crash Stroll,
mm,
and then they caught up with the safety car, and then the safety car led everyone through the pit lane for this,
mm,
which is why I think George was so confused when he came in, because obviously they told Antonelli to box for the
mm-hmm,
tyres. He then goes, yeah, no problem. They then tell George they're not going to box him, even though there was a set of tyres out for George.
mm,
So, because you can hear George on the radio say, hang on, my tyres are there. And then he just pulls in.
mm. Yeah. So they essentially end up double stacking them.
Yeah,
But George has a 5-second penalty to set.
yeah,
Antonelli gets his new tires, pulls out. He's still in first. He's away.
yeah,
George pulls in. Instantly, the jackman lifts the car at the front,
yeah,
and you can see the hesitation from the rest of the pit crew. And then they
yeah.
realise what's done is done here. Get the wheels
Oh,
on,
yeah,
because it doesn't matter if the jackman dropped him and then he started to count to 5.
yeah.
They've
Well,
started working on the car essentially. So they kind of just went all in and changed the tires and got him back out.
yeah, well, if you watch that pit stop back, the jackmen both jack the car, and the front left, and rear right, all of them instantly start attacking the wheels.
Mm,
It's the fella who's meant to undo the front right wheel. He hesitates and then just goes, oh, and
yeah,
then just kneels down, and that's it. He's done the
yeah.
tire. But
So
he conned on straight away.
it sounds
Yeah,
like a whole miscommunication that they weren't intending to pit him.
yeah,
They weren't intending to pit him at all.
no,
And he's gone, oh, like you say, there's my tyres, and just pulled in.
yeah,
And so the jackmen have kind of gone, oh, because no one, because usually you'd have somebody on the pit wall go with a timer, and they go
yes,
5 seconds go. But they didn't have that person there because they weren't intending to pit
no,
him. So, and I think George realizes once he comes out, because he's on the radio, isn't he? Going, well, have I
yeah,
served my time penalty because I was standing still behind Kimmy in the pit
yeah,
lane, and then he watches on board, and he wasn't standing still for even a
no,
second. He rolls in slowly. Kimmy pulls out, and he carries on rolling in. And I think
yeah,
he was just trying to play games on the radio for the stewards at that
of
point.
course,
I think he realised, but then that meant that he picked up a drive through, which we found out
yeah,
after the restart. But then there's loads of confusion. We get
yeah,
more speeding in the pit lane penalties through, including Gasly,
yeah.
um, which come to at the end because that was kind of heartbreaking.
It
Um,
was, yeah.
and we get a restart a couple of laps later after they've
We
sorted out
do,
Stroll's car,
yes.
which lasted for half a lap.
Yeah, we got a nice little rolling restart, and they completed one lap. And at the end of that lap, Leclerc goes into the wall in
It,
exactly the same
it
manner
wasn't
that
even at
Stroll
the end of
did,
the lap. He went in
wasn't it?
under the restart. So Kimi and Lewis
Oh, well,
bolted, and
yeah,
then Leclerc went into the wall
yeah,
behind them.
yeah. And it was in exactly the same manner that
Yeah.
Stroll did. Now, with Stroll, the commentators have put it down to the marbles. With Leclerc, he's put it down to brake failure. And
Mm,
Brembo have actually issued a statement on that. And they've said, we haven't seen the full set of data, but to put it down to the Brembo brand brakes is, uh, what did they put it?
premature.
Is a premature, yeah,
Mm,
premature. And to be fair, it is premature to just turn around and say all of a sudden the brakes failed.
mm,
Is a bit random. I think it's more than likely because you see all the same stuff stuck to Leclerc's tyres as well. It's more than likely he's had exactly the same issue as what Stroll did.
mm. Yeah.
That's certainly the way it looked anyway.
Yeah, because on his onboard again, you see that gravel kick up. You see that tarmac
Yeah,
kick up. I think it was that more than the
yeah,
brakes. I think because he got on that and it kicked stuff up. The brakes didn't act the way they should have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's just gone, oh, it's the brakes, because Ferrari
Yeah.
have been having issues with the brakes in previous races. Lewis has
Yes, of
mentioned
course.
it.
Yeah.
Charles races it. So I think it's just in his head. Well, I pressed the brake and it didn't stop.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, of
didn't
course.
stop
Yeah.
because your wheel wasn't really contacting the road.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it.
Essentially, it wasn't on a solid piece of road. It was on a much looser bit of road that was just
Yeah.
spinning up. So I think that was it. But that basically brought out the red flag, didn't it? Because they were like, at that point, they were like, oh, maybe
It did.
we need to look at this, which is obviously where you've seen that clip from.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So it was during the red flag that Gasly obviously got told that he had a 5-second penalty because he looked a bit upset outside the park, a little bit angry.
Yes, he was very frustrated. Yes.
Which confuses me when it comes to the end, because he looked very angry and very frustrated there, like he'd been told about the penalty, but then at the end,
Yeah.
they're saying he was celebrating like he hadn't been told. But yeah,
Yeah.
that changed like the complexion at the front of the race, because Leclerc was out. We had no Max up front.
Yeah. That's it.
Isaac, who'd been messing around with George for the entire race,
Oh yeah.
finds himself back in fourth behind Gasly, who's now in third.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
And we got a standing start, didn't we, for that one?
We did, yeah, because we were thinking, because even the commentators didn't know at the time. They were saying, "Oh, it could be a rolling start behind the safety car. It could be a standing start," and we weren't really getting any clear answers. And then as soon as they announced a standing start, I must admit I was a little bit worried for Kimi at that point.
Yeah.
Because I thought, obviously at the beginning of the race, yes, he nailed the start, but with his starts being so hit and miss in the Mercedes. And it's not just Kimi, by the way. Russell does exactly the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just, it seems to be, they either get it very right or not bad in the Mercedes. It doesn't tend to go catastrophically wrong, but it seems a bit hit and miss. But it looks like obviously Kimi's either getting the hang of it a bit more, or they've improved things, should we say? But to be fair, he had a cracking start. I mean, Lewis did not hang about next to him. They both got a really good start. But Kimi still managed to be P1 by turn one, and that was him done. And I mean, even his team were coming on the radio going, "We don't need fastest laps, Kimi," and he just kept pounding them in, one after the other. And I thought, what a fantastic show from such a young driver.
Yeah.
What a fantastic show.
I think when they were warning him, about the fastest laps, I think he was just in his groove. And
yeah, I think he was.
And sometimes if you're in your groove and you get asked to slow down, things can go wrong.
Of course.
If you're in your groove, you may as well stay in your groove and just you've only got a few laps left. You don't need to worry about the tires. Just drive your race. There was no issue with the car. He did have a slight hiccup going up the hill. You reckon that was a D-rate issue, didn't he? Because we were like, "Oh, don't tell me his engine's gonna pop."
No, I know. Yeah.
But he came back to him quite quick and said, "No, that's just a D-rate issue. Don't worry about it."
Yes. Yes.
All the action from the restart though happened much further back down the grid as we got to the lollipop.
Yes.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
it did.
You could tell from the camera view there was fantastic. The above, and you can see them all coming around. And they were too wide going around the lollipop. From behind, like Colapinto. No, sorry, not. It was behind Albon and that back. I think it was all. It was like both the Racing Bulls, Nico Hulkenberg, both the Williams, Fernando Alonso was there. Both let him at the back, and these just ended up going too wide. And then Sainz found himself on the outside, Hulkenberg on the inside, and Sainz I think comes across too quick.
He
Hulkenberg got a
does.
10-second
Yeah.
penalty for this, and I don't think he was in the wrong at all. He was in exactly the place where you'd be taking that corner. And Sainz was on the
Yeah.
outside. And I don't think Hulkenberg could have done anything about it because Sainz still had a little bit of room
No.
to his right. But that kind of bounced Sainz into the wall.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
Part of the problem there, I think, don't get me wrong, it was very tight. I'm sure visibility was to a minimum. The way Sainz would be looking in his mirrors probably wouldn't have seen Hulkenberg where he
No.
was. Fair enough. But you should know at that lollipop, you can see all the cars are too wide. Sainz should not have turned in as quickly as he did. Hulkenberg had zero place to go. He couldn't slam on. There wasn't enough time. He couldn't move out the way. There's nowhere to go. The part of the problem there is as well, it's such a boring track. Good grief. The one time we managed well, the one time there could have been an actual genuine overtake on the track, you're going to give the fella a 10-second penalty for not doing anything wrong.
Mm.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? There was nothing he could have done there. Nothing. And I just feel sorry for him. There was no need for it.
I mean, you look and you go, oh, there's a bit of space on his left, but how tight is that?
Yeah.
You know, he's already at full lock going around that corner on the inside.
Oh,
There's,
yeah, he couldn't do that.
There's nothing you can do.
No.
I do think that was on Sainz more than Hulkenberg.
It was.
I do think it was harsh that Hulkenberg got the penalty, but then the next bit was harsh on Sainz. As he collects himself, he goes around the right-hander, goes to turn the right-hander into the tunnel.
Yeah.
He's already wide. Alonso slips through, but Sainz is turning, and then Colapinto tries to slip through as well behind Alonso and spins him around. And that to me was completely on Colapinto.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
There was no way he could follow Alonso through there. That gap was always going to be disappearing once Alonso was passed because Sainz was already steering. But that ended Sainz's race. And up until that point, the Williams had been working very well together to kind of, Albon dropped back behind Sainz earlier in the race to back the pack up to give Sainz a spot to pit into. And then when Sainz come back out, he let Albon through, and then, they were working so well. And Albon was up into 8th at this point. So they were both going to be in the points. It was going to be a good finish for them. Just a bit of a rough one.
Don't forget though, when Sainz got spun round, he nearly collided with the medical car because the medical car was coming around just the corner to go into the tunnel, and it's a blind corner. And as that medical car came around the corner, quickly slammed on. Yeah. Luckily, they've got good brakes on those medical cars. Otherwise, he would have been the one tending to Sainz after crashing into him.
Yeah, and you don't expect to go round a corner and see an F1 car looking at you.
No.
No. Maybe you might see one facing the other way in a barrier occasionally, but not like looking directly at you. I mean, conveniently, there's a pull-off area there where Sainz drove into. You'd normally back cars into, but he drove straight into it this time.
I mean, we were both thinking, don't tell me this is another safety car again. Do you know what I mean?
Because my worry at that point is like, the medical car's only halfway around the track.
Oh, yeah?
And where's Kimi? Is the medical car going to be able to get around to where it needs to get into to pull into in time?
Yeah.
So, that was like all the excitement of the restart. And then it kind of just settled down again there.
Yeah, it did.
Last few laps, it was just, Kimi pulling out at the front, Lewis.
Yeah.
I think Lewis once Kimi was gone was just like, yeah, I'll take second. I'm not going to chase him. I'll just. He had no worries about Gasly behind him.
No.
The gap was big enough that those two just kind of coasted to the 1-2. Then the drama unfolded behind as Gasly comes across in third, starts celebrating like he's got a Monaco podium.
Yes.
Obviously unaware that he's got 5 seconds
Yeah. Well,
Um,
as soon as he crosses the line, he's on the radio to the team, and he's going, "Yes, P3 baby," and all this. And his race engineer comes over the radio and he goes, "No, no, no, wait, 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 wait." And all Gasly's doing is, shouting and
mm,
wooing and fist bump in the air and all that. And don't get me wrong, of course he did, because he thought he was P3,
yeah,
but he knew he had those penalties, and it makes out as though he thought he'd served them.
that's
I don't get where that's come from.
that's what I was saying was confusing me before, because the shot underneath the
Yeah,
red flag, he looked angry, he looked dead upset, and you're
yeah.
like, well, and he even said on the commentary like he's just been informed that he's got a penalty, and you're like, well, so how did he think? Did he forget about it? Was it just the adrenaline? He completely forgot, and it's a
Oh yeah.
possibility. Um, but that dropped him all the way to seventh
Yes, it did.
and
Yeah.
promoted Hadjar to a podium, which, given how he'd driven, can't say it wasn't deserved. He
Oh no,
um, had,
Hadjar deserved that podium. Definitely, he did a cracking race,
mm,
and his racing closely with Russell. He defended really well. He drove really fairly. It wasn't like he was, purposely backing Russell up even to create pit stop gaps for anyone. He was genuinely struggling with the speed of his car, and I think he did a really good race. And I'm
mm,
hoping, in some ways, it gives Hadjar a little bit of a confidence boost.
yeah,
Because he has made a few silly errors in previous races. I mean, look at Miami,
yeah.
and he beats himself up. And I think he's a good driver, and he's the
Mm.
right choice for Red Bull.
I do worry about him slightly, because whenever there's an issue with the car, he
Yeah,
sounds far too panicky. He's coming over the radio. Like, you get some drivers will come off and they sound annoyed, but they're
yeah,
not they're not panicking. It's just like, what's going on here? I've got no power. Give me options.
yeah,
And they're not happy. There might be a bit more aggression to it, but anytime there's an
yeah,
issue, Hadjar sounds so panicky, to the point where I'm struggling to understand what he's saying, because he's talking really fast and he's being
yeah.
dead high pitched. He's like, what's going on with the car? What's going on? I've got no power. And you're like, just take a breath.
Do you
Just
know?
there's a lot of adrenaline. I know. Just take a breath.
Do you know? I think that's something that'll just come with time.
Mm,
I think he's. I think he's very much, because he's still in his early stages and he's in the Red Bull seat. Whether or not he's still thinking along the same lines as we've spoken before of old Red Bull, so he's pushing himself to, like, I must perform, otherwise I'm being replaced.
mm,
And then with how finicky these cars have been this season, is he instantly thinking the second he has a loss of power, this is it, the car's going to die in a lap?
mm.
Unless we find
Oh, we got a
the dashboard's going to turn off. Do you know what I mean?
we had a
Yeah, I
slight
know.
technical
Yeah,
issue there.
we did.
Want to repeat
But
that last
do
bit
you
you
know?
said?
Yeah, sorry. So I'm just wondering whether, with how finicky these cars have been this year, is Hadjar worried that if he doesn't get on the radio and quickly get a fix from them, is it going to be a case of the car DNFs 50 meters down the road? Is the dashboard going to turn off? Is he just going to be stranded? Is it going to?
Mm,
So I wonder whether he's just gone fully into panic mode and gone, I have to do something about this. Um, I don't know whether or not he'll calm down with time as he gets to know his race engineer and he knows, like the way Max and GP are. Max has calmed down a lot over the past few years. He still has his angry moments, of course he does. They're pumped full of adrenaline. But I just think, as he gets comfortable with his race engineer, when his engineer says, "Don't worry, we're looking for a solution," will he just go, "All right,
mm.
I won't keep shouting about it unless something else develops."
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I
I
think
just
that'll come with time.
I just worry that, that sense of panic, you know, it can get into your racing, essentially, can't it?
Of course, it can. Yeah,
And you're already going at 200 mile an hour, through some sections of
oh
some
yeah,
tracks. If you're starting to get a bit panicky and everything, you could do yourself some
yeah,
harm. Um, don't get me wrong, they all come over the radio at some point being a bit angry, a bit annoyed, a bit fed up with how the
Oh
cars
yeah.
are. But the ones that tend to overcome them issues a lot
Yes.
easier are the ones that come over going, listen, I've got an issue here. I'm not
Yeah.
happy about it, but give me a solution.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and there might be a sense of aggression, there might be a tone, but there's no panic.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
It's all,
Yeah.
here's the information that I'm giving to you. Now give me what's going to
Yeah.
help. And
Yeah.
listening to Hadjar's, like I say, I was struggling to, because he was sounded so panicky. It's like, if I was this race engineer, I'd be
Yeah.
like, you need to calm down and give me that information a bit clearer, because I can't help you
Yeah.
because I don't know what the issue is.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that's just the, yeah, but yeah, I think he's one of the young kids, isn't he?
Of course. Yeah.
And I think Kimmy has that
Yeah.
occasionally as well. He does
Yeah.
there's
He
a
does.
little sense of panic in his voice as well, but
Yeah.
not to the same extent. But I think it's still there. But yeah, I think you're right. I
Yeah.
think it's definitely a maturity thing as they kind of mellow out a
Yeah.
little bit and get used to relaying the
Yeah.
info. Um,
Yeah.
but then
But I mean, to be fair, there was quite a lot of jigging around with the final order because, of course, Russell dropped down to, was it P? Oh,
he ended up net P12 because of
was
Hulkenberg's
he
10-second penalty.
P12?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, he dropped right down the order.
So he finished on the road 13th, and Nico took his penalty.
Yeah,
because he had to do that drive through because
yes,
he'd missed his 5 seconds.
yes, of course.
Which just put paid to his whole weekend.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, yeah.
Nothing went right for George at all this weekend.
No.
And he gave Kimmy another 25 points in that lead, which will come to the thing he lead in a
Oh,
minute. But then you look at the finishing order. Hadjar got promoted to third, Piastri in fourth behind him. Good points for McLaren there.
yeah,
Again, Hadjar scoring points. Red Bull, Max didn't finish, but they got points.
yes,
Previous seasons, if Max didn't finish, that was it for them. So
yeah. There
that's
was no
great.
points. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
But then both Racing Bulls, fifth and sixth, and
I know. Yeah,
I'd said maybe last time or the time before,
yeah,
Arvid Lindblad needs to start doing something because he's quickly going to become the
yes,
forgotten man.
yeah. That's true.
Sixth place in Monaco. Brilliant
Yeah,
results. Fifth and sixth. That was a bunch of points for Racing Bulls.
yeah,
And then Gasly demoted to seventh, which, yeah, good.
yeah,
Albon grabbing some more points for Williams. Ocon getting some more points. 2 more points for Haas. And then Fernando Alonso
Oh yes.
getting Aston Martin's first point of the season.
Oh yeah.
You'd said at the partway through the race, the word was that they didn't think the Aston Martins would get to the end.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of them obviously didn't. Through no fault of his own. I'm not making a joke at Lance's expense there. I do not think that was his fault. But for everything he's had to put up with the last 5 races and all the rattling and all the pain and everything, to get a point, I'm well made up for Fernando.
Yeah. I was going to say, whilst we were talking about Hadjar and his radio etiquette, I was trying to think who it was he reminded me of. And I think I know who trained him for his radio messages, and that was Yuki Tsunoda. Because if you remember Tsunoda, whenever he was on the radio, he was always that very fast-paced, panic talking, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That it was because I remember his engineers at the time going, "Just calm down, just calm down."
Yeah.
Just and that was what it reminded me of. And I was sitting there thinking, "Oh man, who was he?" Yeah. And then I just had to look down the drivers list. I was like, "That was it."
Yeah,
I knew it. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm made up for Fernando, but it was Nico's penalty that got him that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it should have been a penalty for Nico. I don't.
No, definitely shouldn't.
But Nico would have finished in 9th and got a couple of points.
Yep.
But yeah, the upside of it was Fernando finally got some points, and the pain of that Aston Martin. I mean, that point's huge, really, when you
Yeah.
think about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But we go down the order, and yeah, I did count right. For the second time in 6
Yeah.
races, we've had 7 DNFs.
That is crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
And no, obviously they were all different reasons. Some mechanical,
Oh
some
yeah.
crashes. But 7 DNFs for the second time this season. Our new count,
Yeah.
and I have had it revolving with I've added it to the Leaders' Championship and everything, with
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
driver standings, the results, and all that. Our new count so far is, including sprint races, is 38
Yeah.
DNFs after
That's crazy.
six race weekends.
38 DNFs.
That is
That's
an
amazing.
average of 6 a weekend. 6 point
That,
something a weekend.
that's outstanding. That is absolutely outstanding.
It's don't get me wrong. Like I say, some of it was mechanical listening, but some of it again was just the engines just be going
Yeah,
kaput.
of course.
38 DNFs.
That's amazing.
And that by DNFs it includes did not start as well. Because if
Right.
your
Yeah.
car couldn't make it to the grid and finish it, well, it didn't finish. But 38.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
and I think that's a number that's going to keep growing exponentially,
Oh yeah.
weekend on weekend. Because when you think about it, this was a race weekend where they weren't that reliant on battery, active aero,
Oh yeah.
anything like that.
Oh yeah.
There was very little to go wrong this weekend,
There was.
and a lot still went wrong.
Was.
Um,
Yeah. Well, the thing is with that is it's not if the activator goes wrong, it doesn't matter. You can still finish a race. You'll finish it poorly, but you'll still finish.
mm,
All the things that have gone wrong, all right, exclude the odd crash and that. It's all been majority battery related.
mm,
All right, you had Lando with gearbox explosion, but the rest of it's been mainly, most of it has been, oh, there's been a software issue with the battery, turn the engine off, or whatever, and it's not good. It's not
yeah,
good at all. And you'd hope as the season progresses, obviously that will start to improve. But let's not forget there's a cost cap on these teams. At some point, you've got to stop pouring money into these things
yeah,
because, especially you look at teams like McLaren with Lando, he's burned through all of his batteries in 6 races. Really, to make that work now, I mean, is Piastri's battery perfectly fine? Lando's is not. How many has Piastri used? Do we know that?
I haven't. I should have looked it up, but I haven't. But it's
I'm,
not.
I'm just I'm just
He
curious. I
did
haven't
have the
looked it up
same. He
either.
did have the same issue one weekend, didn't he? So he was at least on battery number 2 or 3.
Yeah, but you just
Um,
think, is it something to do with the engine that Lando is using? Is that doing something to the batteries?
mm.
Is it? Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you.
So
Um,
the Max one though, apparently they've
yeah,
identified the issue. But Lauren Mackey said that essentially they were looking to replace the engine for Barcelona anyway, so it's not going to be an issue.
right.
So that one's
Okay.
kind of fallen in line, so that's fine. But yeah,
Yeah,
McLaren could be in all kinds of issues. Like they've got the same engine as Mercedes, but they use a different gearbox.
yeah,
Are they? Is them? Are they mapping the engine in such a way to marry it with their gearbox that it's causing more significant issues? Because we're not seeing the same issues from the other Mercedes supplied teams. Um, they're not having the same battery failures. Yes, George had one at Canada where it kind of cut
yeah,
out, but most of the problems are in the McLaren garage. So I do wonder if it's the engine mapping they're using. Um,
yeah. So Piastri has used 2 batteries or energy stores and 2 control electronic units as of the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah, so
both are his final legal allocations.
Yeah, so it was the control unit that he had to change on both cars at that
Yeah.
race when Lando didn't even start, and then Oscar had to be taken off the grid.
Yeah.
So
you are allowed. So under the heavily revised 2026, just so we know, 3 internal combustion engines, 3 motor generator units. They're effectively the MGUKs now.
Yeah.
2 energy stores, they're the batteries, and 2 control electronics. So Piastri has now used all of his as well, but he can have 1 more engine.
Yeah. I honestly think we're gonna see a mid-season review with the issues being so wide across a lot of teams, having a lot of battery issues and things like that. I think we might see a mid-season review that allows for another allotment of certain components.
Yeah, it's either that or you'll just end up with everyone getting a 5-place grid penalty and everyone will start where they started anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I just think, the way they've been having the meetings to review regs, like the starting regs and all things like this, and I think they might look at it and go, well, we've got 2 issues here. One is cost cap, and 2 is components. What both go hand in hand essentially. So I think there may be a mid-season review regarding cost cap and unit allocation to try and stave off all the bad press that you're going to get if you start on every single race with 5 to 6 to 7 or 8 drivers with 5 or 10 place penalties. It's not going to look good in the press for them. It's not going to be the face of the sport kind of thing.
I think you're missing the biggest trick in that one, if I'm honest. So if they did say a mid-season review and they were to say, look at what's happening to the sport, isn't it terrible? We've now got off the grid taking grid place penalties for all these extra, whatever it is, battery units or whatever, or power stores or whatever. And then you're saying, think of the poor cost cap as if they're Oliver looking for another bowl of drool, right? The simple fact of the matter is, all the teams should band together and go, all these batteries we've now had to get rid of, think about how it's damaging the environment. We'd be better off with V10s, right? Because in all seriousness, they're not recycling these things. All the batteries for these F1 cars are made with slave labor in terrible countries and everyone's dying. And plus, I'm losing my will to live watching the sport. So actually, they'd be better off saying, environmentally, we're doing more damage than good, wasting all these batteries, and it's making the sport worse. Rather than saying, oh, poor Lando's getting another 5-place grid penalty, do you know what I mean? Because in all seriousness, as much as I'm making a jokey point of it, what are they doing with all these batteries?
Oh no,
because they're not getting refurbed. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna be like a cemetery of batteries by the end of this season, and this is meant to be the future, is it? You can get 1 race out of a battery. Brilliant.
I'm with you, but it comes back to the conversation we had the other week. I don't think the teams are interested in that conversation because it's the people that back in the teams that aren't interested in that conversation.
Oh, I know.
So I as much as I'd love that to be the conversation for them to go and the teams to be able to go, give us engines as sustainable fuel. We're fine.
But the thing that makes me laugh about that is some of the biggest sponsors of each of those teams are massive oil giants, and they couldn't give a toss about batteries.
And
they couldn't.
The other one that gets
me, Petronas. You think Petronas wants people to buy batteries? No.
The other one that gets me.
Go on.
All the crypto sponsors.
Oh, I know.
Because they require insane amounts of energy to crypto farm.
Like,
your cryptocurrency requires insane amounts of electrical power to mine, essentially. But yeah, we've got oil sponsors, we've got crypto sponsors.
Yeah, but were those 900 yachts watching the race all battery powered? I don't think they were.
No.
Do you know what I mean? They're all like twin V12s, and you're like, give over. I just
It's,
don't. I still don't
I,
understand it.
I'm completely with you on it. I just think
Oh, I know.
the behind the scenes politics on it is it's not necessarily the team. I think if you ask the teams, the actual drivers and the mechanics, they'd all go, "Yeah, give us a V10 any
Of
day of the
course they
week."
would.
But
Yeah, of course
it's
they would.
behind the scenes there. It's like, well, they're not the teams aren't the ones calling it. We had this conversation. If you want to hear this conversation,
No, I know.
go. If
No, I know.
anyone listening, go. If you want to hear the conversation, go listen to the last podcast. Um, so I do think the conversation, as much as I want it to be, let's get rid of the batteries and let's get engines back and
Oh yeah.
let's strap a battery on for a little bit of boost.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh,
give
completely with you on that.
but
No
give
problem.
me give me the V10 little battery for some overtake, an extra bit of
Yeah.
overtake to make it a bit exciting. Brilliant. But I do
That's the
think,
perfect balance, though.
yeah,
I'm not. I'm not even
last
saying.
year's engine's the kind of the perfect balance.
Yeah. Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah,
Little bit of a battery for energy boost, but let's say if if there was an issue with that little battery for the ERS or whatever it was ERS last year, you could still race the car at a
yeah,
decent pace. You just wouldn't have that boost. So you're not going to end up with a DNF.
mm,
You might fall down the pecking order a bit, but you're not going to, you're not going to lose that entire race
yeah,
just because a battery's cut out and decided to brick your car.
yeah. For me, it's like go back to like the hunt for the Red October. Um,
What? How we got there?
bear with me, right? So your engine, just say your engine, that's 100% of your power. When
Yeah,
your
yeah,
car is running on just the engine, it's 100% of the power, right?
yeah,
Put the battery on, and it's like, you know, like in the scene where they got to go chase down Red October, and it's like,
yeah.
Captain Engine Room says 105% possible on the reactor, but not advised. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
go to 105. That's what the battery should be. We're going to
yeah,
105 for a couple of seconds, and then bang, we're back to 100. So if the battery
yeah,
goes, you've still
yeah,
got
yeah, yeah,
100. You've still got your power
yeah.
essentially. It's not like you're not going to be down 30, 40, 50%.
Of course.
You've still got
Yeah,
competitive pace.
I
Um,
get that.
that's the way I think it should be. And hopefully, if if it's to be believed that 2030 we'll see proper engines back in the car, but that's so far in the future. The damage could already be done.
Yeah,
Um, but I do think the conversation mid season will be: listen, we've had
yeah,
4 races now where we've had 5 or 6 drivers with penalties because of
yeah,
components. It's only going to get worse. What can we do?
yeah. Of
Um,
course. Yeah,
because as bad as it is for the sport now, with
mm,
the batteries and the overtakes and everyone being just like not on board with it,
yeah,
how much worse is it going to be when everyone's like, oh, well, he qualified first, but why is he in ninth? He qualified
mm,
in fourth. Why is he back in 18th? Um,
yeah.
it's gonna get messy if you don't do something.
Do you know? I think the only way I can see something like that not happening, like not having a review, is if it gets to the midpoint of the season and the Mercedes and the Ferraris still haven't reached their limit and they're not worried about grid penalties. So they'll just
Mm,
go, whoa, hold on a minute. So just because they built a bad car with a bad battery means they don't have to serve penalties? I don't think so.
mm,
And that's where it'll draw a line. That's the problem. If
yeah.
if say 50% of the people on the grid end up having penalties and issues, you'll probably get away with it. But if it's just a handful, so if it ends up being McLaren at every single race are getting penalties, but your top teams aren't, it'll be, oh, I'm awfully sorry,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah.
and that's part of the problem. Um, so I think it would take a good 50% of the grid before they would ever review that.
Mm,
To be fair,
yeah,
but I don't know. I'm
yeah.
it's all ifs, buts, and
I
coconuts, isn't it?
the issue again, I think it comes down to it'll probably be like, oh, it's down to the engine suppliers.
Yeah,
So you'd have to get 4 of the engine suppliers and the FIA and FOM to agree.
yeah,
And yeah, if Mercedes and Ferrari are quite happy, and
yeah,
Mercedes are like looking again, well, it's only our customer cars that are really
yeah.
struggling. We're not. Yeah,
It's got to be a software issue, hasn't it?
I genuinely think it is the fact that McLaren are having such issues with that
Yeah.
Mercedes engine. They're the only customer car that isn't using a
Yeah.
Mercedes gearbox.
Yeah.
I genuinely think it's more down to that. But at the same time, we've seen George's power unit cut out. We've seen
Yeah.
Max's,
Oh yeah.
cut out. We've seen a couple of others, have the hiccups and the issues, and
Of course. Yeah.
it's whilst I think there's a bigger issue at McLaren and whatever they're
Yeah.
trying to do to map that engine, it's not confined to that Mercedes engine.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
But I think, and we've said this before, they went too far in saying 50-50.
Yeah.
They went
Oh
too
yeah.
far.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think you would have had half the kind of the fight back if they'd gone 80-20 this season, and then over the next
No.
5 years tried to kind of ease it back to and end up at like 60-40 or whatever after 5 years. I don't think they would have had half the pushback or half the problems. I think they've just gone, all right, we're all in.
Yeah.
And that's where your issues are. You've gone from being a motorsport to being a electric set.
Of course.
But should we talk about where the drivers line up now, bud?
Let's
go
do
you want to
for
do?
it.
Do you want to do the teams or the drivers first?
The teams haven't really changed positions. I think we go for drivers.
Yeah. Teams the same. Drivers. Kimi's stretched his lead out at the front by another 25 points over George.
Oh.
But it's not George who's behind him anymore.
George is not in second anymore in the drivers. It is Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, on 90 points. It's and that must be burning a hole in George's head. It's got to be.
Yeah.
And you can see it even when he's being interviewed. And I understand why he was disappointed on Sunday. Of course he was. But every interview he's given, even when it was practice, even when it was qualifying, and he just wasn't managing to get the pace out of that car, you can see it's boring a hole in his brain that Antonelli is loving that Mercedes.
You just reminded me of something with George.
Yeah.
Did you see the clip of him getting absolutely burned by one of the press?
No, I don't think so.
So he's doing the press pack, and
yeah,
the guy interviewing him, I don't even know who it was who was interviewing, was basically like, so how would you sum up your weekend really? And George is like, well, to be honest, kind of speechless. And the guy goes, speechless and speedless.
Oh, sacrilege.
It's a split second. You think George is going to snap on him, but he kind of goes, that's a good one. That's a good one. But you could tell he's seething. Like, I've got to be professional. Yeah. But just the way he's like, speechless and speedless. Like,
Anyone
got any aloe vera?
Oh yes.
But yeah, I think coming out of that weekend and going, not only am I now 68 points behind Kimi, I'm now behind Lewis. It's only 2 points. But
Leclerc's only 13 points behind Russell.
I know. That lead for Kimi now over Lewis, 66 points. 68 to George. It's nearly 3 race wins.
Yeah.
He is in such a dominant. It's very early. It's very, very early still. A quarter of the way through the season. But that is dominant. 156 points after 6 races. He's won the last 5, is it?
Yeah. This is like Max at the start of 23. This. You know what I mean? It's dominant with a capital D.
It's that dominant that you're looking at it going, we could be in the realms of like him beating Max's most wins in a season.
We could. Yeah, we could.
We could be getting to the halfway point of the season and just going, it's over.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's nothing about the way Kimmy's driving right now, or the way he's qualifying right now, that says he's got some slip ups in him.
He could, at this rate, still early, but at this rate, Kimmy could beat the most wins in a season at Mercedes than Lewis had.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? He could.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unreal.
The only thing, like you say, like the way he's driving right now, the only thing I could see being any kind of issue is just the car.
Yeah.
His composure is outstanding. His speed is there.
Yeah.
For such a young driver, he's got his head about him, and he's just quick. He's just really, really quick.
I think, like you say, it's mainly the car that could let him down. Maybe at some tracks, it'll be the wrong setup, or it'll be bad strategy calls, or possible DNFs or mechanical failures. That's what's going to stand in his way. It's going to be mistakes along the way. It's even things like when teams bring upgrades. Not all upgrades are upgrades. We've seen that in the past. Some of them work against you completely. Everything works well in a simulation. Everything. When it's actually out on track, there's so many variables. It's unbelievable. But the main thing is, it's just great to see such a young driver with such talent. But he's not only a talented driver, but he's got a great car under him as well. We've seen so many times like, oh, he's a good driver. If only he could have the car to do it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm pretty sure if you had Behrman in Leclerc's place, he'd perform just as well as Leclerc. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brilliant driver, just needs the car to be able to do it in.
And I think something else that helps is having someone as experienced as Bono in your ear.
Yes. That
Bono is one of the, when you think of the race engineers, the top ones, GP and Bono, in my opinion.
Of course.
Having all that experience to kind of help guide Lewis to all his championships and stuff like that, having that in your ear at a young age, has got to be a massive help, because the way he relays the information, it's going to be it's not going to be I don't know, I'm not sure. It's going to be, okay, here's the info. This is what you need to know. Do with it what you need to. And so he's got the right package. It's everything that he's got underneath him right now and behind him. But I do think the only issue, like we said, would be mechanical. His driving is right there. But behind him, Lewis has come back from that month-long break with the bit between his teeth. He really
without
has. A doubt. Leclerc was outperforming him before that break. But Lewis said, coming out, he stopped spending time in the sim, because the sim wasn't relating to the road. So he was just like, okay, well, I'll just take the info from the road and do what I can with it, and it's obviously working. In Canada, he was quick. Here, he was quick. And you're seeing kind of shades of the old Lewis, and whereas prior, I was kind of thinking, maybe Leclerc's got the edge on him this season. Now I'm like, Leclerc's struggling to even get close to him.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we did get some really bad news this weekend, and that's that Leclerc has extended his contract with Ferrari. And that's nothing against Leclerc. I like Leclerc, and he's a good driver. But good grief, man, move to a team that actually does something, for goodness sake. I'm sorry, but I don't get what his fascination is. I don't get what any of their fascination is with Ferrari. I really don't. It's hailed as this, almighty force in Formula One. And all right, it might have been back in the day, but it's not anymore. It just isn't.
The car they've got this season's a great car, but it's just not the championship winning car, is it? Mercedes have done the better job. And maybe he's looking at it going, well, it's a good car. Lewis isn't going to be around forever. Um, if I've got a chance, I'm not going to get into Mercedes because if a seat comes up at Mercedes, we all know who they're going to want to try and get in there.
Yeah.
And we'll come to that in a second, actually. So maybe he's thinking, this is probably still my best shot.
Yeah. I just the daft thing is, as much as all right, you could say Hamilton's not going to be around forever. If Hamilton's right in what he said the other week, he thinks he's staying at least another 5 years.
Mm.
Well, by which point Leclerc's soul will have been crushed by Ferrari. And okay, they've got a decent car under them this year, but we all know what happens when it's going well for Ferrari. They'll mess it up.
The
They
problem
always do.
is, let's say he went, okay, no, I'm not signing an extension. I'm going to look for another team. Where does he go? And I'm not just talking like, not talking like which seats are available. I'm just looking. You're not going to go to McLaren because they're in an even more woeful position. You're not going to go to Red Bull because right now it looks like their car overall is
Well,
a worse package. Like say about the Mercedes thing is apparently George has a clause in his new contract that states if he
yeah,
doesn't outperform his partner, they can look to replace him.
yeah. Oh yeah,
And if he doesn't outperform Kimi this season, and Mercedes see an
yeah.
opportunity to pinch Max,
Oh yeah.
and Max sees an opportunity to go into a race winning car again, that could be an issue. So I honestly think if you're Charles Leclerc, it's the only option you've got right now.
No, no, I don't agree with that. No,
No, it's
no,
fair.
no.
It's fair.
Only because yes, I understand what you mean. The Ferrari's in a good place at the moment. But having said that, I sort of think if I was Leclerc, I'd want to shop around. The amount of seats that are coming up towards the end of this year, we know there's loads. And I think, would you be better off doing something like what Sainz has done and gone, yeah, all right, Williams isn't the fastest team, but I can see their vision. And would you be better off approaching someone like McLaren and going, well, I know Piastri's coming up for renewal. How about it? Because McLaren are still a quick car. They're just having technical issues at the moment. And you think, it's the first year of the regulations. Of course, you always get one team that get it mega right, and then some that are close but not quite, and others that are woeful, like Aston Martin. So you think, if I was Leclerc, I would honestly think, do you know what? Maybe it's time to move on.
Yeah, I get
He's
it.
just, and I can't understand it from an outside point of view, but he has got an absolute love affair with Ferrari.
Mm,
Since he was a kid growing up, it's always been he wants to be at the pinnacle, and the pinnacle for him is Ferrari. That's fair enough.
mm.
That, good luck to him, and I hope it works out for him. I like Leclerc; he's a good driver. I really hope it works out for him. I just don't understand that love affair.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I don't.
I wonder if like if say he left and won a title at McLaren, if to him
Yeah.
it wouldn't be, he'd be like, yeah, I've got a title. It wasn't a Ferrari title.
So what?
Is there a part of him that's kind of like it's here or nowhere? Is that how much his love of the of Ferrari is like it's here or nowhere? If you get me.
I
Um, and I wouldn't
no.
understand it. I wouldn't understand it because I kind of want to be like I want to get into the car, but I do kind of think right now if you look across, yes, there's loads of seats coming up, but
Yeah.
doing a Sainz is a massive gamble. Yes, Lewis did it when McLaren were on the decline and went to Mercedes. Mercedes didn't look like a great outfit at the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he saw the vision and went, "Let's go with it." And Nicky Lauda kind of
Yeah. Of
convinced
course.
him,
Yeah.
and it paid off. But then Sainz has done it with Williams. It hasn't quite paid off. It's a massive gamble.
Yeah.
I honestly thought we were going to see Oscar at Ferrari in with Leclerc, but the way things are going
Yeah.
at the moment, Lewis looks like he could be there. But I do wonder if like Leclerc was just like, this is the best of the rest. I'm not going to get to Mercedes. This is the best of the
Yeah. Just like I say, I wish him all the best, and I hope it goes really well for him. I
rest.
just don't get it
Mm,
because For me, that's it's a personal thing. I get that. That's like saying if Lewis manages to win a title at Ferrari, is that going to be his best title ever because he won it at Ferrari, or is it going to be the one he fought hardest for when he was at Mercedes? Do you know what I mean? Does it actually matter a toss where you win that title? No, no, it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? Does that mean that Lando is less of a champion because he won it at McLaren rather than Ferrari? No.
Well, no, it's down to a mindset. So,
It's no, no.
so
But
he's been Ferrari through and through his whole life. You know, Lando's only known the McLaren Academy his whole life, kind of thing. You know, is it?
No.
I do wonder if there's that element of it. Whereas actually, yeah, it'd be great to win one somewhere, but actually, the pinnacle for me is winning it here.
Yeah, maybe. I just can't see it. I think, unfortunately, if Leclerc stays at Ferrari, he will be one of those drivers that has always had the potential to be a world champion, but will not get there because he stayed at Ferrari. Yeah. That's just how I think about it, and I feel bad for him because I'd love to see him win a title. He's a brilliant driver.
I do also worry in the sense that if Lewis has got a bit between his teeth, and obviously still has the ability and is still quick, and Leclerc can't keep up with him.
Oh yeah.
If you end up in a position where you're like, oh, hang on, I signed on to stay here because I thought this would be the best of the thing, and now all of a sudden, I'm not even the best in my team. This could just be temporary form for Lewis and a dip in form for Charles. You never know. A long break can do the opposite for drivers, can't it? You know, Lewis has had a bit of a reset, come back well. Leclerc's just found himself in a bit of a dip since he come back. But I just wonder if it's just for him, it's Ferrari or nothing. And
it must be. It must be. But I don't think. I know Lewis only said it a couple of weeks ago. I honestly don't believe he'll be here for another 5 years. He won't, because he'll be at least 4 babies deep with Kim. He'll be already divorced. Kanye West will be raising his kids. It's all going to go wrong. I'm sorry, Lewis. You should know red flags by now. What are you doing? This is ridiculous. Did you see, by the way, when you see the view from the podium, did you see them spraying? Kimi Antonelli was spraying champagne down on Kim Kardashian, and her security took her away and put an umbrella over her because she got sprayed with champagne. I was entertained to no end.
At a driver's celebration at F1, there's champagne there.
Oh, if you also watch, right? If you also watch, you know when they put out the boxes at the end of the pit lane. That. She pinched the towel off the stand. It was Kimmy's towel, wasn't it? Yeah. She took the towel that he has to wipe his sweat off with, and she just pinched it before he even got there. So he was probably stood there going, "I'm going to be drenched."
It looked like she smelled it as well. She kind of picked it up and kind of walked away. You're kind of like, "That's not Lewis's."
You're like, surely you should be able to afford your own hand towels by now. Surely. Anyway,
I've got another gripe with that.
Go on.
Just celebrities on the grid walk.
Oh, I can't stand them.
Like, if you're a fan or you're there with somebody like you're there with their partner, great, grand, right? But there is enough security at that event that only certain people can get onto the grid. You do not need an entourage of 5 security guards.
Yeah.
If you want to get on the grid, that is fine. You've got a pass, you can get there. You don't need to take on 5 security guards. And those security guards do not need to manhandle people who are trying to do their job. Like the guy pushing Martin Brundle away. No, he's there doing his job.
Yeah.
You're there as a guest. If she doesn't want to talk, she can say, "Hey, not now. That's fine. I don't mind it." But having the entourage just going, no, I'm pushing people away. I'm sorry. No, you shouldn't even be on the grid at all.
It's not just that, but who told Kim Kardashian that she's important? Because in all seriousness, when she comes up on the screen and it's got a title underneath it saying Kim Kardashian, I go, "Oh, right, okay." I could walk past her in Tesco and I wouldn't know who she was. I'm sorry, I could. I can
understand her being there as Lewis's partner and going on the grid. I can understand that completely.
Yeah.
And I can understand teams inviting celebrities along and all that. And
Oh yeah.
and I can understand people being excited being on the grid walk. It's just the
Yeah.
whole attitude of, well, if I'm going to be there, I need my entourage. No, no, you don't. There's that much security that you cannot get onto the grid. What do you think is going to happen? Everybody on the grid is easily identifiable. You don't need, and the problem is then you end up with all these different people, all these different self-important people, these massive entourages, and then you see the guys with the cameras and not just Martin Brundle, but all the other international broadcasters trying to do their job, and they're having to fight through. You know, I'm kind of like, what would happen if the mechanics got a bit too close, trying to do their job? You can't. I'm sorry, it just annoys me. Like, by all means, have people on the grid, have celebrities on the grid, have absolute nobodies on the grid who want to pass from the team, and the team are trying to show them something. But if you're on the grid, by all means, decline an interview. By all means, just don't bring an entourage. You don't need one.
You see, part of the other side of that is, I think they should also do it so that during the race, all they can watch is the cars. Stop putting the camera, when you're trying to watch the race, stop putting a camera right in somebody's face who's watching from whether it's a pit box or a balcony or whatever. I don't care. I'm trying to watch the race. I don't care what famous people are there. Nobody cares what famous people are there, to be honest. If anyone tunes in to watch the F1, nobody's doing it to go, oh, I wonder what celebrities will be there today. They don't care. And the other side of that is, when she walked and picked up that towel, why was she on that side of the barrier? That should be drivers and teams only.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think, no, actually, she should be sort of reprimanded for that and going, hey, listen, if you ever turn up here again, you can't be pinching towels off people's stands and sniffing them and things. I'm sorry. Who do you think you are? I don't care if it's Lewis Hamilton's partner. I don't care if it's one of the royal family from the principality. You should not be there.
Yeah. As well as the entourages, it's the ones who aren't interested in F1 that get me. They've just been invited along because they've got some sort of status in some sort of area, and it's like, you're not a fan of F1. It's clear you're not a fan of F1.
Yeah.
You may be like, oh, who are you here supporting? Oh, the guy in the red car. Yeah. Just a little kind of rant. Just the whole grid, the goal. It's getting worse and worse every season. And Martin Brundle is a national treasure, and should not be disrespected.
If it's Ted in his notebook, you can throw him in the sea.
Fine. You're absolutely fine.
That's fine.
What was the? I can't remember which race he was asked about in the race in the commentary, and they were like, "Oh, do you remember that race back in?" And he was like, "No, because I was in hospital with 2 broken legs." When my legs busted up from a crash, you're like, I love it. Absolutely love it. It's just the grid walk's getting worse and worse every season. It's starting to annoy me a little bit.
I mean, that's the thing. The sad thing is when you see people who are entertained and they actually do love F1, say like Gordon Ramsay, for instance, when he's been there and they bumped into him and they go, Gordon, who are you here with? And he instantly goes, oh, I'm here with, I think it was McLaren last year. And he was like, oh, really enjoying watching Lando, and Piastri's doing really well, but I also like, and he starts naming other drivers, and you can see he's physically excited to be there. I don't mind that. No problem.
One of the best ones was Sam Ryder.
Yes.
He was just super excited to talk to Martin Brundle. He was like, Martin!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And just genuinely enthusiastic about the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you want. If you're going to have celebs on make sure the fans, make sure that they know something, at least a little bit about the sport. And, have them at least show a little bit of respect to the people who are trying to actually do their work that weekend. I genuinely don't mind if celebrities go, I haven't got a moment, sorry, I'm just talking to, or I'm not really in the mood to talk, I just want to take it in.
Of course.
I've got plenty of respect for that, but I'm just going to smile at you whilst my entourage pushes you out the way.
Yeah. No, get in the sea. No. But I mean, anyway, back to what we're talking about.
Sorry. Rant
sorry.
over.
So, yes, so yeah, Leclerc in fourth on 75, and then it started. Obviously, we've got the two McLarens, Piastri on 60, Lando on 58, and then it's the two Red Bulls,
Yeah.
Max on 43. I mean, I'm a Max fan, and that's grim, man. That's grim, but we're still early in the season. He's certainly not going to win it, but he can certainly get higher up than that.
If they sort that chassis out, there'll be points coming. Sure, and
Definitely.
Bahadjar as well, just behind him.
Yes,
Great points
definitely.
haul for him today. He effectively doubled his points, just over
Yeah,
doubled his points
yeah.
this race. I'm glad to see that. I keep saying I'm glad to see both Red Bulls scoring points.
Yeah, definitely. It's a massive turnaround.
Yeah. And then it's just like a jumble after that. Like you've got those 4 teams in the top 8.
Yeah.
And then it's just a massive jumble. And you can see where the other teams are just nicking points off each other left, right, and centre. So Gasly has been super consistent. I think it was only the last race or so with Colapinto picked him. I do rate Gasly. I do. I've always rated him. He's a good driver. But yeah, just a bit unlucky that he lost the third place.
Definitely.
And you mentioned Behrman before. Like he's too good for that Haas. He had a DNF.
He is.
He had a DNF this weekend. It's unfortunate, but he's too good for that Haas. And Colapinto. Again, I don't rate him, but the one coming in behind with 13th is Arvid Lindblad with like 13 points, and I'm so glad he scored points this weekend. So glad because he's close to becoming anonymous.
You see, I wonder if we did see Max go to Mercedes, could we see Behrman go to Red Bull?
I think it would be a possibility, but I honestly think if Red Bull had the choice between George and Behrman, they'd take George. He is a quick driver. I don't like his self entitlement at all. His attitude since he moved to Mercedes from Williams has changed dramatically, and I do not like that.
Yeah.
But I think he's quicker than Behrman.
Yeah. You see, I'd put Russell Aston Martin. Just no. Just to replace Stroll.
I genuinely think
because I don't like him.
I think the Aston Martin seat. I honestly think if that seat became available, you'd see people clamoring to avoid it. I think the only way they'd fill that would be to promote somebody from like F2 or something. I was at F1 and they were like, right, say I'm at Red Bull or Alpine or something like that, and they go, we're not renewing your contract right for next year. Okay, I'm gutted. I'm really sorry. I wish I could stay here. Love the team, all that.
Yeah.
And then the phone goes and it's Lawrence Stroll. I'd just be like, I'm taking the year off. I do not want to drive that thing.
No. No, I don't think you would. No, I don't think so. I think if they were getting rid of Alonso and your teammate was going to be Stroll, you'd take the year off.
Oh no, it's an easy.
It's not hard to outperform, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah.
Team. What's the outperformance thing at the moment to qualifying? 41 or 42 races in a row that Fernando's outqualified Lance.
Yes, that's true. Yes, he has. Yeah.
Behrman deserves to be in a quicker car.
He does.
The problem you've got is all the quicker cars have got, apart from Lewis, and the possibility of Max walking away from the sport, depending.
Yeah.
The other 6, I don't think you're going to see them move out of those teams.
No, maybe not. No.
They might move between teams. But I think 7 out of those 8, and this is again no disrespect to Hadjar, because I think he's got so much potential, but 7 out of those 8 are your 7 best drivers on the grid.
Yep.
So replacing one of them. I think if it happens that Max's head's turned that he goes to Mercedes, he'd be happy teaming with Kimi because they get on so really well.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously he's got that pre-existing relationship with Mercedes because of Team Verstappen racing and all of that. And he's got a good relationship with Toto, which I think Christian Horner would be shivering down his spine for that.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I do think that would just be a straight swap.
No. Nope.
You just don't want to see George in a Red Bull. That's.
No, no. I just don't rate him. I'm sorry, I don't. I just don't rate Russell. I don't. I think he's. It wasn't hard for Russell from 2022 onwards to show that he's fast because the car was awful, and it made him look better because he was outperforming a 7-time world champion. And I know, don't get me wrong, Hamilton was doing a lot to try and improve the car. He was doing a lot of testing and things and trying to test new things now. But it made Russell look good. And I just don't think that he is. I think he could easily be replaced. And I think that's exactly what will happen. And I don't think he will remain in the top teams at all. I think he will either fall to a lower team or nobody will take him on, to be perfectly honest. I don't rate him. I don't.
No, that's really fair. Don't. That's absolutely fair. I mean, this is what this is all about, isn't it? It's all about discussing it all and everything.
I think when he has had wins in the Mercedes and things, he's had the odd race where I thought, you've done well there. But everyone has those races. I mean, good grief. Norris is a champion. I mean, it says it all. So, I honestly think if Max replaces Russell, Russell will not end up at Red Bull. There's better drivers out there. Okay. There is. Yeah.
No, that's fair. I mean, I genuinely think he's one of the best, one of the top 7.
Yeah, you're genuinely wrong.
But, and I would just, the only reason I'd put, say, Behrman ahead of him was because of Behrman's age.
Yeah.
You got all that potential to unlock, and he seemed very down to earth, very, very relaxed, very chill.
Yeah.
Maybe George's attitude, like at Williams, he was brilliant. He was the underdog, and he was.
Yeah.
And he moved to Mercedes, and it was almost like we've said before, like almost like he felt like he was entitled to a championship. Now he was driving a Mercedes.
Yep.
And his demeanor, his attitude, the way he says things sometimes, doesn't come off great. But
nope.
If you step that aside from his actual racing talent, I personally think he's one of the top guys in the on the grid. But yeah, I could be wrong. Red Bull could pass him over for someone like Behrman because you see the potential to bring in 2 younger drivers like Isaac and Behrman and develop the car.
Yeah.
Because it's rare to have somebody of Behrman's age with his experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do. It will be interesting to see if that clause does actually exist.
Yeah.
In George's contract. He must have been. If it does, he must have been extremely confident to sign it.
Yeah.
Confidence, arrogance, however you want to. But if Mercedes look at it and go, well, Kimi's young. He's 19. If he goes on to win, he's young. He's 19. He's a world champion. Plenty of potential.
Yeah.
We can keep him for a while.
I think Russell will follow the same sort of trajectory as what Ricciardo did, because at a time you would have said the same thing about Ricciardo, one of the top 7. There's no way a team will pass him up. There is no way. Well, and I like Ricciardo, but where is he now? Do you know what I mean? I just think, unfortunately for Russell, I think he's one of those drivers that he will have the car to get the championship. He will not get the championship, and he will just disappear off a radar. That's just what I believe, and I'm
that's
not
a
wishing
fair
that on him.
forecast. It's a
Yeah,
fair
I'm not
forecast.
wishing that on him by any stretch of the imagination. If he performs well and he wins a championship, good on him. I'm not wishing him failure. I just think he'll miss the point. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And unfortunately, it's the same with Leclerc. I think he is definitely possible. He is absolutely capable of winning the world championship, but he will not win it staying at Ferrari. He won't. And I'd love to see him become a champion, but he won't win it staying at Ferrari. He won't.
I mean, F1
No.
history is littered with people who had the potential.
I know. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes it's about timing.
Of course
Sometimes
it is.
it's
Of
just
course.
one bad decision.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I do think Kimmy's just going to keep extending at the top,
Oh yes.
and we're going to see a lot of kind of movement, and just it's not going to take much for those Red Bulls if they sort that chassis
Yeah.
out to overtake McLaren and to be right on um, right on Ferrari's heels. Because you look at the
Yeah.
team standings. Yes, big leap from Mercedes to Ferrari, but like I say,
Yeah.
less than 100 between Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull. Only
Oh yeah.
40 between McLaren and Red Bull.
Yeah.
They sort that chassis out. Both drivers scoring points
Oh yeah.
could be massive.
Oh, of
You know,
course. Yeah.
the rest. I think the rest is going to fight it out for like Alpine Racing Bulls Haas. They're going to be fighting it out for fifth.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah.
I think our forecasts from the start of the season are going to be nowhere near what we thought
No.
they were going to be.
No.
But the
No.
huge thing is that 1 point for Aston Martin lifts them off the bottom of the team standings.
Wow.
Yeah. There is only now Cadillac that has failed to score a single point for 6 races.
No, they've let me down.
I think that'll remain the same unless we see mass DNFs, which clearly is possible.
Yeah. Asteroid on the track. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's also the drama there going on that Bottas could possibly be replaced.
Yes.
And that's not going to be by Zhou Ganyu, who's the test driver. I can't remember his name, but they've got an American driver possibly lined up if he can get the super license points. But he's a few short.
Yeah.
So Bottas has got that cloud kind of over his head, which I don't understand because Perez hasn't exactly been great either. But the other side of that we said the other week, wasn't it? Perez brings sponsorship.
He brings sponsorship. Yeah. Yeah. Seat bought and paid for.
Yeah. So it's
yeah.
6 races in. A 66-point lead for Kimi. A 79-point lead for Mercedes.
Yeah.
It's looking very much. It's early doors still, but looking very much like Mercedes are going to get the double crown again this.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Yeah.
But with all this duo stuff. And
yeah.
The absolute surprise that Red Bull have the fastest engine.
I know.
That's why when you sent me that thing earlier, I just did the 2 eyes, just like that.
I know, yeah.
It's going to be an interesting few weeks, an interesting couple of upgrade windows.
Yes, definitely.
And Barcelona next week is generally a quick track.
Yes, definitely.
So that advantage out of the slower corners this week that Red Bull had, it's not going to be there this coming week.
No.
I think we're going to see Mercedes, Ferrari again at front.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I do think that brings us to a close.
Yes, indeed.
For this week. Yes. Yes, it does. But we obviously will be back next weekend with Barcelona. And in the middle of this, there will be a special episode that we haven't told any of you about. And I'm still not going to tell you about it either. You can watch the episode. Yeah. But yeah, there is a random episode in the middle, which will also lead on to more content further down the road. But more will come to light in that episode, which also should be out this week, I believe. Yes. But again, as always from us, we always thank all of you for all of your, spending your time viewing or listening on various platforms. And if you do ever have any questions, you can comment on the videos on any of our platforms, and we will try and we'll give you a reply. If it's a good topic to get onto, we'll put it into one of the videos or the podcasts. And if not, we will comment, and we'll always try and put our names on the bottom so you know who's replying.
Indeed. Yep. As always, thanks for listening, and take care.